The Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. has the responsibility of promoting, assisting, and facilitating the development of tourism, Barbados' main economic driver. Back in November 2021, tourism veteran Jens Thraenhart was selected to guide Barbados' tourism product into the future when he was tasked with leading the BTMI. For the first time since that appointment last year, the new BTMI CEO sits down with local media. In this exclusive interview, he shares his plans to market Barbados as the ideal destination, his qualifications for the position, and even his thoughts on the hot topic slogan, Little Island, Big Barbados. I'm Crystal Hoyt, and this is In the Know. Thank you so much for agreeing to this interview with me, Mr. Thraenhart.
Thank you very much, Crystal.
Now, your appointment did result in a significant amount of backlash. Many Barbadians questioned how you, a non-national, could truly market the essence of Barbados. What makes you qualified for this position?
Thank you very much for that question. I think there are four areas that I think I can add value to really transforming tourism in Barbados. The first one is my global experience. I've grown up in Germany and also have a Canadian passport. So I worked in Europe, I worked in North America, in Canada, in the US, and I also worked in Asia, last in Southeast Asia, being the head of the Mekong Tourism Coordinating Office for 6 governments: Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Thailand, Vietnam. And I've also done work in other countries all over Asia, from China to Mongolia to Korea, Japan, Kazakhstan, Bhutan, India, Sri Lanka. So I have a wide spectrum in terms of global experience. I think the second thing is I've worked in government. I worked for the Canadian Tourism Commission, now Destination Canada, as the head of marketing strategy, campaign management, digital marketing, and so on. And I also obviously worked for the private sector. I used to work for Fairmont Hotels. I also started various companies, so I have an entrepreneurial background. So I think all these pieces together, I think, gives me a good essence of how to connect with different stakeholders. The third thing I would say is also my academic background. I did my MBA at Cornell University and now finishing up my doctorate thesis at the Hong Kong Polytech University. And I think lastly, probably my relationships. I have a vast array of relationships in the industry, from the private sector to the public sector. I'm currently the second vice chair of the UNWTO affiliate members with the World Tourism Organization. And so I think all of these things taken together, gives me a unique background to come in and blend with, number one, the prime leadership that's here in Barbados, led by the Prime Minister and the Minister and other ministers I've been able to interact as well. Also a diverse board, which the Minister has just appointed. And number three, a very talented and passionate team at BTMI. So I think bring all that together, I think we can together really transform tourism in Barbados and also show the world how tourism can be a force for good.
You've been around the world. What, in your opinion, differentiates Barbados as the ideal tourism destination?
It's a great question. I'm obviously, just a year ago, I was in Asia. I lived in Thailand. And which is a fabulous destination. But I think what makes Barbados unique is not just the beaches, what Barbados is famous for, but also these unique, diverse experiences that many people don't know about. But again, there are great experiences all over the world. But there's one thing that really stood out. And when you get here, you feel a sense of being at home. The people here, they're welcoming. And I think even though you can go to Thailand, but you'll always be a foreigner. But here you feel you're part of the community. And that, I think, what makes Barbados so special, and that's why the repeat rate is so high.
Mr. Thraenhart, you've been CEO for almost 6 months, at a time when the industry is rebounding. Tell me about marketing Barbados in a post-COVID environment.
I think COVID brings a tremendous opportunity to any destination in the world, but I think especially Barbados, because we can really transform tourism. But I think the first thing we need to look at is, why do we do tourism? Because that question answers the most important essence of what we want to do. And the answer should be, we're looking to do tourism to create value for all stakeholders and well-being and happiness for all residents on the island. And with that, I have my own 5 I's, my 5I framework, which starts with, the first thing is insight and intelligence. I think the first thing we need to do is actually create a framework for data, and we need to make informed decisions on how we market. The second I is inspiration. Inspiration is how we tell the story of Barbados using visual content and really, talking about the people on the island and the small businesses. The third I would be innovation. How do we look at digital transformation? How do we look at also new things in terms of CRM, crypto, data protection and cybersecurity? And how do we really make sure that we innovate in terms of how do we do business to create efficiencies, to be really making sure that we create the best return on investment in terms of our initiatives. The fourth I would be inclusivity. I think inclusivity is important because we want to make sure that everyone is included. Every stakeholder is part of our framework, not just the travelers, but also the residents, the small businesses. So that, I think, is important. We want to make sure that every resident feels they're part of that tourism ecosystem. And the last I would say, is investment. So I think investment is critical. On one hand, to look at invest into entrepreneurship. We're working right now with the minister on a tourism accelerator program to make sure that we support these small businesses and passionate entrepreneurs, and really making sure that products and experiences become market ready. We also want to invest into youth and education to make Barbados a hub of education in tourism and hospitality. And we also want to invest into MICE to make sure that we can bring small, high-end meetings into Barbados as well. We also want to invest into culture, arts, and events. We have crop over coming up, I think, which is very exciting. We can do more to really bring that onto the world stage, potentially with virtual tourism. And finally, we need to invest into sustainability and climate change. That is critical because, as the Prime Minister said, small island destinations are more at risk than other destinations. So we need to make sure that sustainability is not an add-on, but becomes part of everything we do.
Just before you joined the BTMI, a slogan was released: Little Island, Big Barbados. It was recalled after Barbadians pointed out that it was used in Malta, Jamaica, Bermuda, and a number of other destinations. Subsequently, a committee was set up, and Barbadians have yet to hear any new developments since last year, July. What is the latest on Barbados' slogan?
From my standpoint, I've done a lot of branding presentations, and I believe that a destination is not marketed via a slogan, or a logo, because again, as you said, these could be, repetitive in other destinations as well. What a destination needs to do is create an emotional connection with its consumers, either Barbadians for domestic tourism or international visitors, abroad. And I think when we create an emotional connection and really look at what it really means to be Bajan, I think then, everything will fall into place.
So the question is, will Barbados have a new slogan?
You know what? I didn't lie to you when I said, I don't believe in slogans. The first slide I do with that branding presentation, I actually take the countries away. and I've only have the logos and the tagline. And you know how many people can actually correctly say what destination goes into which slogan? Nobody. You know, so I think a logo and a slogan do not market a destination. What markets a destination is the emotional connection that that destination brings. Now you can put it all together and package it, but I think what I believe what makes Barbados unique is what it means to be Bajan. And I think when I say what means to be Bajan, it's not just about, let's say, you being from Barbados, but also what it means as a movement or a lifestyle. You know, being welcoming, being purposeful, being sustainable, you know, being community oriented, taking care of each other. That's what I'm seeing when I look at Barbados and when I interact with Barbadian people. That's why I'm also so excited when my family is going to join me in the summer. You know, I have a 4-year-old daughter, and I think she'll have a great time growing up here in such a wonderful place.
While Barbados is a tourism destination, for Barbadians, it's home first. And so I want to really discuss marketing Barbados domestically if the BTMI's focus is truly on the first tourist being Bajan.
Yes, I personally believe that tourism starts at home. You know, you need to make sure that when you travel somewhere, that the people are welcoming. You know, when I grew up, my mom taught me when you select a restaurant, always see if the locals are eating at the restaurant. You know, so I think it's the same with a destination, because if the locals embrace the destination, if they're proud of the destination, then visitors want to be part of it. They want to connect with the people and they want to be part of the community. So I think in the end, we need to make sure that local Barbadians also love and embrace the experiences that this island has to offer. And then international visitors want to connect and want to be partake in that.
You mentioned international visitors, and we've heard the tourism minister say that we must see tourism as being more than the arrival numbers. What does that mean to you, and how is that thinking being applied in the BTMI's marketing approach?
I think going back to what I said earlier in terms of asking that question, why tourism, you know? And when we ask that question, we go beyond just arrival numbers. We look at quality over quantity, you know? And when we're looking to create touch points, you know, we need to also make sure that we export Barbados outside of Barbados into the world. And that's what the minister is talking about, the business of tourism. So we need to make sure that we create market-ready products and experiences that connect with people all over the world, and then people feel comfortable coming back. I'll give you one example. You know, there are Italian restaurants or Thai restaurants all over the world. You know, so you already have a familiarity with the country, with the cuisine, so it's very easy to say, you know what, I'm going to go and visit this country. But if you've never heard about this country, never connected with these experiences or products, then it's going to be much harder to market. So I think on one hand, obviously, we need to make sure that we create these experiences and products on the ground here, especially local products and authentic experiences. But on the other hand, also we need to make sure that we bring these experiences to the world so people can connect with them before they come here. Another way also to do that is via virtual tourism as well, because again, we're bringing these experiences virtually to the world so people can already connect and then feel familiar when they come here to experience it firsthand on the island.
Are there any new markets that brand Barbados is trying to penetrate?
Yes, I think, you know, we also always need to look at markets, right? I mean, obviously we have UK as our strongest markets. I think there's a lot of potential also in the US. You know, we're looking now also at Latin America, where we have an office already. We have a delegation that's going to WTM in Brazil in, I believe, 2 weeks. And we also look at Europe, which has also a lot of potential. But then another new market is Africa. You know, we're looking at the African market, which obviously has a connection in terms of culture and heritage. But again, I mean, we need to step back and look at a market portfolio analysis. What other markets are relevant? And we need to look at and maybe explore other emerging markets to see how we can diversify, not to be too reliant on one or two source markets alone.
And with summer on the horizon, how is BTMI marketing Barbados as a place to be this summer?
I think it's so exciting now that destination and borders are opening up, and that people can come back to Barbados. And I think, we've just launched our summer campaign, which is very exciting. We're looking to kind of look at memories, we're looking at moments, but also at secrets. And when I look at secrets, I think one of the secrets is actually crop over. Because this is my first crop over. I heard about it. I heard about carnivals and so on. The minister calls it the sweetest summer festivals. But I'm so excited to experience crop over for myself. And crop over is now really integrated into our summer campaign. So I think it's going to be very exciting to inspire people all over the world of what crop over is. And there are various installations with giant postcards in major source markets to really make sure that people can touch and feel Barbados before they get here.
And my final question, you've been here for a few months. What is your favorite thing about Barbados?
This is a question. I need to be diplomatic with that because there's so many amazing places in Barbados. But I like these small local experiences. I like to kind of see what is going on that people maybe don't even know about. So I like places like going to Peg Farm and having farm-to-table food. I like going to the East Coast and see this rugged environment and watching the surfers. I've also been to St. Lucie in a whole different part of the north of the island. But obviously, I've also been to the beaches. So I think what really makes Barbados so unique is the diversity, of the beaches, but yet the local experiences. Being able to walk into a rainforest, but yet have a local fish and oysters, and everything in between. I think that's what makes Barbados different from other destinations, and also the culture. Because I think that's what makes Barbados unique from other Caribbean destinations in particular, that the culture here is very strong, and I think that's what people want to look at when they're traveling after COVID. I think the final point I make, I just learned this is actually quite interesting for me, is that one of the cleanest airs you can have is actually in Barbados. And now as people are looking to travel post-COVID, there's a tremendous opportunity for Barbados to look at health and wellness tourism and have people connect with the nature and the environment.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.